Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a short video where I will try to explain the difference between mean sea level and above ground level altitude. In your briefing, you will often have a number saying fly 100 MSL or 100 AGL. As you can see, MSL means mean sea level or average sea level, while AGL is above ground level. MSL is barometric altitude. It shows you the altitude based on pressure. It does not measure the altitude to the ground. It just shows you your altitude based on pressure. So pressure is the deciding factor in how it measures altitude. AGL above ground level uses radio energy to measure the ground level. It actively measures your ground level below your aircraft, directly below your aircraft. That's why AGL is your actual height above ground level, as it says above ground level. It is very important to know the difference between AGL and MSL. In MSL, because it is measured above mean sea level, it does not care how the terrain goes, if it goes up and down, if it's flat desert or mountainous regions. It does not care, because that is not what it measures, and that is not what it is used for. If you fly 100 MSL, let's say above water, you get over land. That ground have some little hills and some mountainous areas. MSL does not keep you above or a safe distance to the ground. That is why if you only look at barometric altitude, MSL altitude, when flying above ground, there's nothing to prevent you from flying into hills or mountains, because it does not measure your altitude above ground, because the pressure all along could be the very same. So if you fly 100 MSL over water, that will always be the same distance to the water. Then you get over land. Some hills you need to manually fly above, because that hill is, let's say, 110 MSL. The peak of that is 110 MSL. And then mountains, they can be very tall. Below 200, let's say 100 meters in a Russian aircraft, or 100 feet in Western aircraft, the altitude does not matter. Let's say you come at 100 AGL above water, because it is actively measured. It is your actual height above ground level. When you get over land, you get into a bit hilly terrain. To maintain 100 AGL, you need to go up and down. You need to follow the terrain, because the distance here is 100. This is 100, this is 100, and so on. That is why when you get below 200 let's say meters, you need to go up and down. You need to follow the terrain. That is why you use AGL when you're very low and MSL when you're up high. One common mistake with AGL is that people think it is a terrain following radar. It is not, and the sensor, the radio used to measure the distance to the ground is measuring directly down at 90 degrees. It does not look forward, it does not look ahead, it measures directly below you. That is why if you fly 100 AGL and suddenly the terrain rises up pretty fast, the nose of the aircraft can technically hit a mountain before the sensor tells you that you need to go up, because the sensor measures 90 degrees below you. And that is also why if flying in clouds or so at very low using AGL, you need to pay very strict attention to that, because suddenly a mountain can come up in front of you and you need to react very quickly. That is why when flying in very mountainous terrain, you can use mean sea level. If you know that a peak of a mountain is, let's say, 1000 meters, then when you enter that area, that terrain, you know, oh, I just need to go up to 1100 meters, then I'm totally safe. And you know, at that waypoint or at that distance, I'm clear of that mountain, I can descend again and use AGL. So you don't only use MSL and you don't only use AGL, you mix and match those two. And it's important to know when to use each one and know the limitation of each one. So that is the difference between mean sea level and above ground level, and when to use which and when not to use them. Thank you.